What's up YouTube, it's your boy the Real Quinn Jr. and I'm back with another video on Naruto the Boruto, Shinobi Striker. But today we're going to be doing a little bit different. Today I'm going to be starting a new series where I go over all the different clothing skills in Shinobi Striker, letting you guys know how effective they are, and honestly if you should be using them on your Shinobi or not. As y'all know, Season 4 is coming, so we're probably going to be getting a lot of either new characters or new players coming to the game. New guys that haven't played Shinobi Striker, or we might have some guys returning, so I think this would be a good little series to help new players coming and hopefully help the game continue to grow through this time that it's still alive. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video. So if you've played Shinobi Striker before, you know that the different clothing that you wear comes with different skills. And these different skills can help boost your Shinobi and boost different parts of your ninja. Whether it's ninjutsu, ninja tools, or getting health. These skills right here aren't the ones we're going to be going over in this video, but they will be skills that we will be touching on in the future. For this video, we'll be going over Tenacity Rising, which is supposed to increase your ninjutsu's ability to cancel out other ninjutsu. So this would be like, you know, canceling out a fireball or something like that. The other builds I'm going to be using are not going to have Tenacity Rising, and I'm going to show you the difference when it's on and when it's not equipped. And hopefully in this video it'll give you a better understanding of the ability, and you'll know if you should be running this on your builds or if, you know, it's a waste of time. So for the first build, we're going to be using Domed Wall and Sand Shield. This build doesn't have Rising Tenacity. So this is going to be basically what the stock jutsu do against each other. First we start off with the Domed Wall going up against a normal firewall. And you see that the fireball doesn't really do anything. The Domed Wall still stays up for some seconds and the jutsu is still pretty effective. When we try this again, we tried the Domed Wall up against a Majestic fireball, and you can see the Majestic handled the Domed Wall with ease. So now we're going to be trying the Sand Shield going up against a normal fireball jutsu. And Sand Shield is a pretty decent jutsu, but it has a lot of counters. But you see the fireball doesn't really phase the Sand Shield really at all. Once I'm able to get away from the bots that are attacking me, we tried the Sand Shield up against Majestic, and you see that Majestic literally just breaks through the shield, it breaks my guard, and it sends me flying, which isn't good at all. So then I decided to see if blocking makes a difference when fired with the Majestic, and it breaks the Sand Shield and breaks my guard. So this shows that without Rising Tenacity, Domed Wall and Sand Shield worked pretty well against a normal fireball, but going up against Majestic, it was pretty useless. So then when we switched to the build that has Rising Tenacity, we did the Domed Wall against a normal fireball, and the results was basically the same. The wall stayed up for some seconds, and it basically did its job. So then we tried the same thing, the Domed Wall, but we tried up against a Majestic fireball, and the Majestic destroyed the Domed Wall immediately, the same way it was without having Rising Tenacity. So we tried Sand Shield against a normal fireball. The Sand Shield stays open, it doesn't fall down, and it does its job against a normal fireball. So we tried against a Majestic, and we're not guarding, and the same thing happens. Once the Majestic hits me, breaks my guard, and it sends me back. So after this, I determined that Rising Tenacity had no effect when using Sand Shield or Domed Wall. So when we get to the next build, the rest of these builds will be using Rising Tenacity. So we try Vanishing Rasengan and Rasen Shuriken. So first we try Vanishing Rasengan up against a fireball, just to see how it happens, and you see the Vanishing Rasengan literally didn't do anything. Fireball literally just smacked right through me. So next we tried the Sage Art Rasen Shuriken versus a normal fireball. And even though the other person was a little bit late, you see that the Rasen Shuriken was actually able to fire through the fireball. So I run through it again, and we try the Rasen Shuriken versus the fireball, and the Rasen Shuriken goes through the fireball and then hits the opponent and eliminates them. Now I ain't gonna lie, this last one's gonna sound stupid. We try the Vanishing Rasengan against the Majestic, and you see what happens. Literally has no effect. So then we try the Rasen Shuriken versus the Majestic Fireball, and once again the Majestic just trumps all. But the positive out of this, we did see that the Rasen Shuriken was possible of going through a normal fireball. After I decided to do a few experiments, so I tried the Water Dragon against a Majestic, and that didn't go too well. Majestic went right through that. We tried a Majestic versus the Flame Lightning move from Hiruzen, and that didn't work also. We didn't try the Air Palm against a Fireball, and surprisingly the Air Palm went through the Fireball. It was actually successful. When it was going up against a Majestic though, the Air Palm didn't do anything. We tried Almighty Push, thinking that it would maybe prevent the Majestic from coming in. It did reduce the damage. I still got burned, but the damage wasn't the same. Almighty Push did prevent a Chidori though. Then we tried going up against Water Pillar to experience, and normal Fireball didn't do much. And we tried Amaterasu. Neither one of these jutsu were able to break Water Pillar. Then surprisingly, this jutsu came in handy once again. Even though the tracking is horrible, the Rasen Shuriken was actually able to break the Water Pillar, surprisingly. When it came to the Laughing Buddha hands though, it wasn't able to break Water Pillar, so that was unfortunate. So then we tried Mud Wall going up against Fireball and Majestic Flame Destroyer. And as you see, going up against a normal Mud Wall, it did pretty well. Going up against a Majestic Fireball, the Majestic was able to break down the Mud Wall as usual. So then I tried the Rotation Jutsu, and surprisingly, the Rotation Jutsu was able to repel the normal Fireball, and then we tried it against a Majestic, and it repelled with no damage, and you also got a boost actually. So that was actually pretty surprising. I tried it again just to make sure that it wasn't a fluke, and it was able, even though the animation was a little bit behind, it was able to repel both Fireball and Majestic with no damage, which is literally honestly just cheese to me. And you guys know if I'm doing a versus video, I have to do Rasengan versus Chidori. And we tried it, and Rasengan was able to repel the Chidori. Note that this was with Rising Tenacity on though. So honestly, after going through all that, it ended up being that Air Palm was able to go through a normal Fireball, and most things were pretty ineffective against Majestic, except the 8 trigrams Palm Rotation, with also the defense things like Domed Wall and Mud Wall. Sand Shield was basically utterly useless. So one thing I did notice when it came to these builds and these different jutsus going up against each other, it definitely seemed as though jutsus that do more damage were better at canceling out other jutsus, which didn't come as too much of a surprise, but it was honestly pretty interesting. But that's going to be it for the video today. That's going to be the first video of this series. We went over Tenacity Rising, and I'm hoping this video is useful and helpful to people that are coming new to the game. So basically, I mean, depending on what jutsu you're running, if you're running like Majestic or like 8 trigrams Palm Rotation, then this clothing skill will be effective and will be useful for you. But you can also do some other experiments and stuff like that, more things against Water Pillar, like I know the Thunderclap Arrow eliminates Water Pillar and some other things. But let me know what y'all guys think about this new series that I'm doing. Let me know if y'all want to see more videos on this, and thank you for all the support. All my socials are in the description, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. See y'all next time.